What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today I want to get into an outside of the box trade option for the New York Jets. Don't know how likely this is, but I saw it online for a little bit and just wanted to talk through the logistics of why it could make sense or why people are thinking that it's an option, and that has to do with the Minnesota Vikings, who are now 0-2. And their quarterback, Kirk Cousins. So the Minnesota Vikings were a playoff team last year, obviously high expectations going into this season. They start 0-2 with a brutal loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They lost by 6 points to the Philadelphia Eagles last night. Really not to the fault of Kirk Cousins, but Cousins is in the final year of his contract with the Minnesota Vikings, and we're pretty well aware that he is not going to be back with them in the 2024 season. It's his final year on his deal. He's likely going to be somewhere else. If for whatever the reason the slow start continues for the Minnesota Vikings, would they consider trading him? Now the trade deadline's Halloween, so there's 8 games that would be played for the Minnesota Vikings before the trade deadline. And they really don't have the easiest schedule. They have the Chargers, Carolina, Kansas City, Chicago, San Francisco, and Green Bay before the trade deadline. What if they're 2-6 or 1-7? I don't think 2-6 is really that crazy. There's some quality teams in there. The Chargers are a tough team. Kansas City's a tough team. San Francisco's a tough team. Green Bay looked good in week 1. We'll have to see what they look like in week 2. Maybe Chicago gets better or Carolina gets better. But if they're out of it at the trade deadline, what if they were like, we just want to, we'll move on from Kirk. We know he's not coming back. We will draft a rookie quarterback in the draft class in 2024 and go from there going forward. That would be maybe the reasoning behind it. Now, on the final year of his deal, as I mentioned, $10 million base salary this year. The dead money next year is not great, to be honest with you, and I think that's one of the bigger things that would hold this back is the dead money in 2024. And, honestly, the perfect plan would be that Zach Wilson comes in and looks good and you don't have to worry about adding any kind of veteran. But if he comes in and is looking like New England Patriots Zach Wilson, Jacksonville Jaguars Zach Wilson for the next few weeks, you can't just punt on this season because the Jets are just are too talented. And, maybe it's, Jacoby Brissett, Gardner Minshew, Jameis Winston, someone like that they bring in. And it's not as big of a swing as Kirk Cousins, but I don't know. There's of the Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, the bigger name guys, I think Kirk is the one who would most likely of those 3 become available in the season. I don't necessarily think that this is like a home run. Obviously, this is going to happen. But I think it's something that's worth talking through because of how Minnesota started this year. They have a tough schedule. It's the final year of his contract. Joe Douglas might make a big swing, and I think Kirk gets a lot of hate, and I get it. He's not my favorite quarterback either, but you can pencil him in for 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns every single year. Last year he had 4,500 yards, 29 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. So far this year, through 2 games, 354 yards a game, 6 touchdowns to 1 interception, and a 114.2 rating. He's been good to start this season. They're not losing games right now because of Kirk Cousins. And also, has he ever had a team that's this good around him? I don't know. If we are holding out hope that a Zach Wilson, who's the at best case scenario, we'll say the 25th best quarterback in the NFL, could help get this team to 9 wins and into a playoff spot, then what do you think someone of Kirk Cousins' caliber would be? And again, I'm not saying that it's, a 1-for-1 swap for Aaron Rodgers and Super Bowl expectations are right back on. I don't think that's fair, but talking about I don't know, the 12th best quarterback in the NFL, maybe. I think that obviously elevates the floor of this team significantly, and I think would also elevate the ceiling on this team as well. And again, my preferred option is that Zach Wilson comes in and plays really well, but I think you have to have a contingency plan for if that doesn't happen. I think it would be naive to just be like, yep, we're going to put our head down, and no matter what, Zach Wilson's going to start the remaining 16 games. If he goes out there and doesn't play well over the next few weeks, they're going to have to make a decision on what to do, because they can't continue to run him out there if he's struggling, because again, as I mentioned, there's too much talent on this team to just punt away on this season. They're going to win games solely because of how good that defense is, and they have too many playmakers in Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. They were stellar in week 1. They were absolutely excellent. So yeah, I think, look, with Kirk, I don't know, again, I want to reiterate, I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen. This is the preferred plan, but just I think it's wise for this Jets team to have a contingency plan. And I know, like, he kind of screwed over the Jets a little bit in 2018, so some people are going to hold that against him, and I get it. I don't necessarily love what he did to this team. He used them to get more money out of Minnesota, but I don't know if he wants to finally put that curse that he can't win big games behind him. Coming to the New York Jets could help do that. That would be an interesting stopgap option. I want to hear from you. Do you think it's possible that the New York Jets could trade for Kirk Cousins in season? Sound off below in the comments. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you next time.